What is up, everybody? Welcome to From the Forum, the Friday night Q&A show. Boy, do I have some killers in the house tonight. I got the guy over to my right or left. I never know because I don't know which way you're looking at it. Whatever side. But I got Aaron over beside me, the FF mad scientist. We always love having Aaron on. Down below him, we got the Scott Fishpole queen herself, Miss Gina Noble in the house. And then right next to her, I got Evan, SoCal ball nerd, the props king, leading the way to money every day, all day. Make sure you give my guy a follow. But yeah, so we've got a loaded up show for you tonight. Let us know if you're in the chat. Say hello. And we're going to get this thing rocking. As you know, tonight's show, we answer questions in the house. So if you have any fantasy football week 15 questions, make sure you pop them in. And then, we'll also go back and forth between questions from the forum at fantasyfootballadvice.com. We got already Jerry in the house. Man, Jerry is the bomb. Let me tell you. Jerry has been tuning in. He's been killing it on the Thursday night football card breaks, and he will be at the Expo, Fantasy Football Expo 2024. So we will be excited to see Jerry there. Albert, what's up, Albert? Nice to see you. Angie, cheers. I'm with it. Jack's not in the show, but I've got Aaron, so I have to half drink,
That's fair enough.
But just real quick, as we kind of get in here, I know I kind of gave you this grandiose intro there, but I'm sure you have some legitimate stuff where people can find you. So just, Aaron, start us off. Let everybody know who you are, where they can find your stuff if they don't already know.
You can find me on Twitter and pretty much any social media at FF Mad Scientist. Catch up on the Mad Science Lab podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can catch my written work at The League Winners, King Fantasy Sports, DLF Player Profiler, and Fantasy Pros. I'm sure I forgot somewhere, but that's pretty much everything. I can't remember. I work too many places. I'm kind of a whole.
All right, Gina.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, the X, whatever you want to call it, NobleG_FF. I also host the Rank Draft Trade podcast. You can find us at rankdrafttrade.com. You can check us out. We have a lot of Dynasty information on our podcast. So if you're into Dynasty, definitely tune in for information.
Excited for that. I love Dynasty season. I get super excited for rookie and rookie comps and all that good stuff. What about you, Evan?
Yeah, so at SoCal Ball Nerd on Twitter. You can find me with the Sports Affiliation, co-founder there with IDP Iggy and JC Money at the Sports Affiliation on YouTube, at the Sports Affiliate on Twitter. Shows all week, articles on our website, thesportsaffiliation.com. Just all things sports, all things props, all things fantasy all the time. And Chargers creator, cover for at High Point Sports. That's pretty much it, man. You can find me Twitter all day long, man.
Oh, yeah, that one. I do High Point Sports, too. I forgot.
That's right. It does do High Point Sports.
Browns. I forgot.
You did say you probably forgot something,
Yeah.
so
I'm sure there's still something I forgot.
So we got a loaded show. Jerry's, let's see, yo, Tyler, the host with the most. Appreciate that. My question is, when your music career started, did you go by a different alias?
That's your burner account, isn't it?
No, that's not my burner account.
Sure
But no, Jerry's Jerry's a person. Jerry's on like all the shows, not a burner account. But Jerry, to answer your question, when I toured, I did not go by a different alias. We had a band name, but that will be another conversation for another time.
I Googled you last night.
No, you didn't.
I did so when you told me you used to be a recording artist. I Googled recording artist Tyler Bradley to see what I could come up with.
So I have
Nice.
taken down most stuff.
Not
So
all
it's pretty hard to find, but there is stuff still out there. Don't scour the internet. I'm not that important. If you really want a CD, just DM me your mailing address and I'll send it over. And Gina, just so you know, since you just got back from a church service, it is contemporary Christian music.
Oh, okay, cool.
Facebook user.
Send me a
in the
CD.
house.
Yeah, I may have to request that CD.
Yeah, like, can we get one for being guests on the show?
Absolutely. I'll send you a T-shirt with it
Signed.
too.
I want it signed, autograph.
I don't believe I can step foot in a church, so
Yeah.
I'm probably out.
You are always welcome. And
Everybody is allowed to step in a church.
No, I'm joking. I'm Catholic, but let's
right,
not
Except
get into
for you.
religion.
No.
we got Super CNB challengers. I mean, I didn't mess that up. That's so good. Yo, pick one running back and one flex. Monty, Elliott, or Zay.
1 and 1. Definitely.
1 and
Elliott.
1. So you got to pick a running back. So obviously you got Monty or Elliott.
The first
I
two.
want Elliott.
The first two.
Yeah, I want the first two. The Lions have a cake matchup this week. Elliott's got an unsurmounted amount of usage. You know, like he's getting used all over the place, catching the ball, running the ball. I mean, it's like the offense runs through him. They release Ezekiel Elliott last week, and they get their first dub upset. You know, what do you think, Evan?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, I like Zay Flowers this week. I think there's plenty of spots where you're going to use him. I think he's got a good matchup, but I can't play him over Monty or Zeke. I mean, we saw the volume Zeke's going to get, even in the passing game. I mean, he gets the work, and you're talking PPR. And yeah, Monty's just, I mean, they get Denver, dude. He's going to run for 5+ yards a carry, and I think Detroit really gets back to the run game this week.
Yeah.
And he's like a touch. I mean, 70 and a touchdown probably for sure, even though he doesn't catch many passes. You know, I think you got to go with that. I mean, if Flowers outscores one of them, so be it. But I have to play the first two.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, obviously. We got Tobias Reaper coming in. Hell yeah, rookie season. Here I come. Yeah, I mean, for everybody that's been booted out of their fantasy football playoff dreams, you have entered into dynasty season and you are anxiously awaiting the opening of the offseason where you can start making them moves again. You know, so pumped about that, pumped about really seeing, you know, how that worked out. What'd y'all think about Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman?
Wouldn't have been, I don't know, wouldn't have been my pick, but I don't really know who I would have picked. So I didn't really have any thoughts. There wasn't really a clear-cut winner, but I didn't really care for any of them.
So I've got a guy in that's in a league with us, and I mean, he sold out his team for this year's draft class. And his main things that he wanted to accomplish was he wanted to get Caleb Williams and he wanted to get Marvin Harrison Jr. So right now he is beating himself up bad because there's a high possibility neither one of them enter the draft this year. Especially like the big one was Marvin Harrison Jr. But, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr. is basically getting offered his entire rookie contract, like 4-year rookie contract in, you know, dollars to just come back for 1 year at Ohio State. You know, so I don't know. Do you think he comes in? What do you think, Evan?
I mean, I have no idea. I would think he'd want to go to the NFL. I mean, but your whole rookie contract, it's not like you're passing up guaranteed money in the NFL to only come back and get limited money for 1 year. So, I mean, you come back and possibly get hurt and never taste the NFL. Are you good with that, with all that money? I got to, as a competitor, I feel like he's coming out, but that's just a personal opinion. Like, I don't know, man. I don't have that NIL money staring me in the face.
What do you think, Aaron? You think he stays?
Yep. I think both of them stay.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. What do you think, Gina? Do you watch college football much?
This is my weakness. I'm getting better, but I'm like meh into the NFL. Like, tell me when they get there.
That's the
That's like
best,
Jack.
though.
Jack could care less for rookie picks. He's like, give me
No.
studs. I don't care. I don't want to make picks.
That's the best, though. This time of year when they start announcing all the guys who aren't coming out for the draft and nobody wants those rookie picks because this class is going to be terrible, go buy all those rookie picks and then wait for another month when it's the greatest rookie class ever and sell all the picks. And then a month later, it'll be the worst class you've ever seen. It goes in cycles all season long. So just, treat it like a stock market, buy low, sell high.
Yeah, no,
I
that
dive
is.
in.
Go ahead, Gina.
I dive in once everything had all the chips have fallen, and then I start like studying the rookies. And I don't really get into college football that much, but I definitely dive in once they're getting ready to be drafted. They've gotten through all of okay, what am I looking at? So that's when I start making my moves.
I lean more towards that too, Gina. I'm not huge on college during the year too much, or even in the off season. And even like, I want to know where these guys want to land. I mean, landing spot to me is so important in the NFL.
So important.
Like, I'm not going to not know who these guys are, but like where and who you get drafted to means a ton.
Yeah.
I
It's
started
hard,
checking rookie
I'd rather
profiles.
have a first or second year guy that's already played in the NFL than the rookie
proven.
pick almost every time. I don't want maybe a veteran, but give me a guy that's already shown he can do it, and you can have my pick.
Yeah, I agree. And if you want to see that in action, do a rookie mock draft before the draft and then see after the draft where all of those players actually end up. And I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time worrying about this and thinking about rookie picks until the chips land where they may, and then I'll make my moves.
See, I think you missed some of the buy sell windows, like Aaron said in there, which is fine. You may not care about that. You may just want to try to get you a stud out of the lot. But I typically try to take advantage of the buy sell windows when I can. That's a little bit of exciting part of Dynasty for me, as like I'm like I'm a trader. I like to run it like the stock market, buy, sell, and then like as a salesman in real life, like I'm also coming and I'm like, hey, you want this player, like they're going to be the starter this year. And in your head, they're going to get like 2 games before they're like out or depleted or somebody overtakes them. And you're like, no, but this is the dude. Like you want this guy. He's going to kill it this year. I really want that person. Wide receiver, because I need, whatever it is, however narrative you take it. But I am excited for Dynasty season. Right now, I'm focused on winning several championships. So hopefully that works out well for me. We got Southern Dad popping in. Yo, what's up?
I don't know about you, but I write probably 50 rookie prospect profiles. So in the dynasty leagues I'm in, where I know they have rookie drafts, I stockpile late, like 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks, because I know I'm going to be able to scoop up guys like Puka Nacua early in draft season before anyone's heard of them. Because I don't know what your leagues are like. 90% of the guys in most of my leagues outside the expert leagues, they have no idea who the picks are after the first 15. Meanwhile, I've scouted 90 players deep. So
yeah,
I
like that. I mean, so in the dynasty leagues that I commission, we actually have our draft right after the NFL draft. So you do get to see landing spot, but you don't get to see how like camp works out, how the depth chart works out. Like it adds another caveat. I like for people to have to do a little homework. I mean, the NFL does homework. We should do homework in Dynasty. That's like the whole purpose. You're building the franchise, right? So we're gonna pop through. We're loading up with questions. If you're in right now, by the way, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. But for sure, hit that like button or you're mean. I know, right?
We don't like mean.
You're mean. We don't like
You're
mean.
a Grinch.
It's the Christmas season. Be friendly. All right, McBride or Kittle this week?
McBride. The matchup sucks, but
the matchup sucks bad. I'm surprised you went McBride.
I don't think I could not play Kittle.
Bride's getting like minimum 7 targets a game, minimum 9 PPR points per game.
Yeah, but he hadn't seen San Francisco.
Doesn't scare me enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it could definitely damper his day. In the meantime, on the other side, who is going to cover Kittle?
I don't know.
I mean, nobody's going to cover Kittle, but they also are going to be able to just run the ball down Arizona's throat.
They're going to do whatever they want. It's going to be the Raiders.
Just like they did against Seattle. I don't know. They don't have to throw. I mean, and McBride has shown so far that he has really been, I mean, I think Cleveland was his toughest matchup, right? And he had no problem there. So it's hard to sit McBride. I mean, and he's the guy. I mean, Hollywood's done nothing. Yes. We've seen nobody else do anything. And yes, Kittle can be the guy, but so can McCaffrey, so can Ayuk, so can Samuel. Like, I think I'll take my chances on McBride getting all the work as opposed to hoping Kittle gets the treasure that 4 other guys are all right next to.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. There's nobody else. Like, nobody.
So what are you going to do when Dre Greenlaw concusses McBride in the first quarter?
Be happy he's already scored 2 touchdowns at that point.
No, look, I'll tell you this. If Arizona has 2 touchdowns in the first quarter to McBride, I will. Yeah. I don't know. I'll pay for you to go to the Expo this year on me, plane ticket and all.
Ooh. I'm like a 2.5-hour drive. That's why you volunteered that.
Look, I mean, I'm just trying to come up with something off the top. I mean, I can boost it up. We can raise the.
It'll take me longer to get through customs than it will to drive there.
Look, I just don't know how you sit Kittle. I mean, and we've seen. Here's the thing, though, with San Francisco, everybody's scared because San Francisco has a lot of weapons. They do have a lot of weapons, but every week, every single one of their weapons is at least pretty playable. You know what I mean? Like, the floor is there and it's strong. And then you're going to have those games where Kittle goes for 2 touchdowns and, 75 yards pretty easily. And this could be one of those. Obviously, San Francisco is hoping for a run at that number 1 seed. Obviously, that depends on the Eagles taking an L somewhere along the way. But, I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I agree. So here's the thing. If you don't have anybody else, McBride's a good play because I do agree there's nobody else. He's going to get force fed. Like, they're going to try to force him the ball, but in forcing him the ball, I don't know that really plays out as like he gets a lot of catches and a lot of yards. You know what I mean? You can be force fed the ball and have 14 targets for 3 catches. He
hasn't had less than 7 catches in like 6 weeks.
Arizona is not bad against the tight end. I mean, if there's the strong area, I know they don't have Kazir White anymore, but they're, schedule adjusted defensive points, man. They're 6th against the tight end, and the Niners are what, 2nd? Like, that's not the spot you beat Arizona. Like, it's receivers and it's the running game. So if there's a reason to say not Kittle, it is the fact that Arizona's decent part of their defense fantasy-wise has been tight ends. I'm not saying Kittle's not going to have a good game. I just, like Aaron said, I mean, not less than 7 catches, a matchup that actually every other position favors the Niners outside of tight end more than tight end. That would kind of be my reasoning on top of, him getting the targets, but
it's fair. So it sounds like we're split. Kittle. All right, Kittle. I can't do the point thing on here.
Gina said Kittle too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good problem to have. I don't know that you could go wrong either way. So flip a coin.
Who are you flexing? Who are you flexing instead of McBride or Kittle? I mean, if you were to play both these guys, just out of curiosity.
There's a part 2 to the question that shows who his flex options are.
Okay, let's pull that up. Let's pull that up right here.
And is there a tight end premium?
Yes.
Walker, Addison, JSN. So there's your flex. Is
there a tight end premium?
Yes.
There is a tight end premium?
Then flex your tight end.
I'm playing both tight ends, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
in tight end premium. I think I might even without the premium. I mean,
I don't know, man. It would be hard for me to sit D-Hop. I mean, he's been pretty consistent, and Levis is. Oh, let's go back to the McBride argument, like force feeding him the ball. You know what I mean? That's a hard one for me to not play. But I mean, either way, like, Wham, what a great problem to have. Like, look at this roster, right?
Yeah, right.
Champions.
I mean,
No. That's not the roster. Those are only one of them is going in the flex spot.
Right. But what I'm saying
but he
is
has those
the
options.
choices to choose from. But
so
when you
whoever
look at D-Hop, how many catches did D-Hop have last week? I know he had a lot
7.
of yards. 7?
Yep.
And the weeks before that, he
5.
was what? 5. So he's,
and then he had 12 targets in back-to-back games, and then it was 5 before that.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Houston's not exactly, stellar and not giving up passing yards and volume. And I mean, Okonkwo's been a little bit more involved, but we're talking like 40 to 45 yards possibly involved, not, stealing the show. So, I mean, yeah, I can see starting D-Hop, but I think tight end premium with talking about how you guys are on Kittle and Aaron and I talking about McBride, having 7 catches a game. I think I'm going to play both tight ends, man.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons I've been so successful in Scott Fishbowl is that they have a really awesome, the tight ends score really well. And I've played Laporta and Kelsey every week in my lineup.
So if you're playing both tight ends, you're sitting D-Hop or D-Hop or Cooper?
So you're saying he could put D-Hop over?
You're setting my lineup. It's my burner account.
Oh.
Am I sitting D-Hop or Cooper for the tight end, loser?
That's incredible.
I'm sitting Cooper.
Cooper had 14 targets last week.
Chicago's been
how
pretty
many
good
catches
against
did he
perimeter
have?
wide receivers.
7.
Chicago's been good against perimeter wide receivers, and we just talked about what D-Hop can. Yeah, I think D-Hop's the better play, better matchup, better volume.
Cooper.
All right. Cooper out, both tight ends in. Thank you for answering that guy's question. I'm sure he appreciates that.
Let's go.
All right, now.
I like how he was so opinionated on it, too.
Oh, no.
Well, I almost didn't vote on the tight end question because I'm like, it seems counterproductive to ask the question and then vote for one of it. So I wasn't counting my vote, but.
And I'm going to argue with you why I'm right, even though I'm asking the question.
Okay, does that not sum up NFL fantasy Twitter, though, in a nutshell? I'm going to ask the question and then argue with you anyways.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jerry said Higgins or Zay Jones this week.
I don't know that I'm playing T. Higgins. Maybe Zay Jones?
T. Higgins at 35, Zay Jones at 42. T. Higgins by a little. Oh.
If this was me, like, I'm going and grabbing Josh Palmer off waivers and playing him this week. Obviously, it's too late for that, but I did it in like 2 leagues.
I grabbed him
this week
in 2 leagues.
So what's your advice? Pick up Josh Palmer and don't play either this week? Like, what are you leaving an empty spot?
Hope you get retroactive points.
This is an either or. It's a Higgins or Zay Jones.
Higgins. It's both ugly.
Yeah, both ugly. Southern Dad comment. So this is on. So he's in the league. This is Josh. He's in the league with me on the guy that sold everything for the picks this year. And he's hoping he doesn't get that the guys don't come out. Also because he traded his first round pick for this year. So I'm sure he's hoping he's got a shot next year when he has it back. Angie popping in. Let's see. I'm surely the last standing non-PPR league. Would you go McBride or likely non-PPR? And same league, do you trust Garrett over Addison?
McBride, Garrett Wilson.
Gina?
Yeah. I think I would agree with that. I think I would go. I mean, McBride or likely just blew up. I don't know. I mean, it's a toss-up again, but I think I'd go McBride. I think he's been a little more consistent. And then Garrett, I think Garrett's fine over Addison.
What you think, Evan?
Yeah, for me, it's not close on the tight end, to be honest. I blew up Likely last week. I think the Rams were a killer matchup for him. I don't think that he sees the same work. I mean, he's athletic. Don't get me wrong, right? We know anybody can go off. But if we're talking about the matchup, like, this isn't the week for Likely like it was last week. So I got to go McBride. I mean, we just – how much have I just talked him up, right? Like, over Kittle? Like, I'm playing McBride over Likely. And Garrett Wilson, I mean, 7 catches last time against the Dolphins, fed last week by Zach Wilson. Wilson scares me because every time he has a good week, the next week he just comes out with a dud. But I just think that he knows to throw Garrett Wilson the ball. Garrett Wilson has quietly still been pretty good. I'm playing Garrett too. I'm going Garrett and McBride.
Good choice.
Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome.
I mean, I like Garrett Wilson too. Garrett Wilson had 14 targets last week against Houston. They're going to play, they're going to be going against Miami. They're going to have to score points. Like, he could absolutely have a lot of targets again. I mean, he's had double-digit targets in what? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 8 games. I mean, I like that. And broke 100 last week. I'd like to see him get a touchdown. So I like Wilson. The tight end thing, and granted, I know we just said McBride. It's a little bit more risky for me, but since you three agreed, I'm going to go. And the reason I say that, I like Likely's big play touchdown upside. Like, McBride will catch an 8-yard pass for a touchdown. That's how that works in my mind. Likely's liable to catch a 30-yarder for a touchdown. And what do you have? Like 7 targets for 5 catches last week. Like if that trend, like if that's the start, we know how Lamar plays, right? And Lamar tends to latch on to people and go at it. Jacksonville's 25th against the tight end position. I don't know. I think he could just have a good week. I mean, I don't know who else is there, but then it's also like maybe a flex for me. I like Likely this week, but McBride, I like Fred Warner. I like Dre Greenlaw. I don't know that McBride has that big of a week. So I'm going to be on my own island, probably out of my freaking mind. Maybe I've drank too much whiskey already. I don't know, but I'm just going to, I want the ceiling there. And I think Likely showed us last week you can have. Now it could be a one-off and I could be an idiot buying a boom candidate, right?
Likely, he has potential. He could be good. Like, he could be anything. He could even be Trey McBride. So start Trey McBride.
That's like a go-to line. Like, oh, he could be George. No, let's be real. All right, keep rolling. So Angie, it's 3-1. McBride. So go with the majority. If you want to listen to me, I'm sorry if I let you down.
Yeah, we'll just add real quick on that, even though I already said I'm McBride, that I know the Jags points per game against tight end. They're not that great with how many big games they've had against them. But overall, schedule adjusted, I mean, points above what's expected every week. The Jags are 7th against the tight end. So I don't know if Likely gets fed the same way he got fed against a Rams team that schedule adjusted is one of the worst.
So this is the key for me right here. And Coach, I'm glad Coach Craig, I love when he pops on the show. If Dre Greenlaw misses, McBride is money. But Dre Greenlaw is a force, and like I think he's a game changer for that dynamic. Okay, let's see. If the question is too boring for everyone here, you can DM me your thoughts. Angie, no question is too boring. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we would be happy to answer your question anytime. There's no boring questions.
Never.
Hey, I have a running back question when I get a chance. I won't hide with a burner account.
What kind of asshole would do that?
Who would do that?
Who does that? What the heck? What the heck? Look, Coach Craig, me and Tyler are on the same side. Appreciate you, Coach Craig. I got a little love out there in the world. Little love. Okay, hit us with your oh, there you go. That's Jaguars missing Cisco. Okay, sorry. But we'll get off the likely McBride question. Hit us with your running back question, Gina.
Okay, so Scott Fish. I had Aaron Jones, but that's been a bust this season. So this week, I've got Connor, which is kind of stinky and gross. I've got Kareem Hunt, and I picked up Chase Brown off waivers last week.
Chase Brown.
So yeah, I was leaning. I've been actually using Kareem Hunt, who has actually done all right for me. I don't even know if Aaron Jones is going to play. I've just been assuming he's not. So I don't know. I don't like James Conner's matchup. And so I was leaning Chase Brown, but it makes me a little nervous.
Brown is
Yeah,
a
what
bad
are your
matchup
thoughts?
too, but I'd still prefer him over Hunt.
But Hunt has scored touchdowns. I mean, he went on a little bit of a dry streak, but then he got a touchdown last week. And he's got a good matchup, doesn't he?
Chicago. Yeah.
Chicago.
Ninth best.
So really dig down deep on this one. This is an important one. You are
Aaron's
just
like-
looking
Aaron's
at
like,
me
already-
like,
already
don't
gave
all
my
jump at once.
I gave you my answer. He's like, I gave you my
I'm just
answer before you
listening.
finished
I
your
was
question.
I'm just listening to the talk, you know. I'll be alone on this one. I know it's scary. For me, it's James Conner.
I have him
coming
in
off
my
the-
lineup.
He's coming off a bye. He's had, you know how many times this year and other years everybody has said it's a bad matchup and James Conner this. I don't know. I know that's more of a gut feeling than analysis, but when we're comparing it to pretty tough matchups against the Vikings and the Bears, in my opinion, I'm okay with Conner here based on the volume, the track record, where he's at right now, coming off the bye. For me, if it's my team, I feel better playing that guy over the other two. Minnesota's been really good against running backs. I'm over talking it. It's Conner for me.
Connor has the second worst matchup for running backs, and the bigger problem is that his targets have completely dried up. That's the most concerning part.
I'll take the volume and a chance that he gets in the end zone over Chase Brown or even Kareem Hunt in this game, in this matchup. Ford's been getting the passes. That's what the matchup against the Bears is to me, is the passing, which Ford has kind of been the guy more the last few weeks than Hunt, if I'm not mistaken. I know nobody likes it. I just think I'm going to go with Conner here. I
mean, the thing about Connor is he is the guy. You know, you look at the other teams and it's like, which one of the guys?
I don't know. I think they integrate Michael Carter into the lineup a bit more after the bye. That's also something to consider.
I mean, with where they're at, I could see that. I mean, I would be more like leery of that than like the other guys being better plays with what they could do on the field, just for a young team that's out of it, right? I mean, hard to compare it to last night, but we saw, a Charger team that's out of it, really using Spiller and the other guys, more than Eckler. Granted, it was 50-0 before we could have a sip of coffee or whiskey or anything else. But, but to the point, that Aaron's saying is team towards the end of the year, like Connor, what's his value to this team long-term? I don't know if that's getting just a little too cute for like, what if that happens? But I like bringing that up, Aaron, just to, to acknowledge that. But
no, I just think Carter is actually a pretty solid back. I think they moved on from him in the Jets because they're stacked with pretty decent backs. I think they should have gotten rid of Dalvin Cook and kept Michael Carter. I think Carter's probably the lead back there next year. So I think
I like Carter.
Chance, but what was that?
I mean, good for him, man, because Connor's, he's had a solid year, but yeah, I like Michael Carter long-term as well. I liked him in New York. I was bummed that he kind of just got shafted out of there. But what do you got, Tyler? You've been quiet.
Man, I'm just I took a page out of your book. I'm just listening.
Solid. That was a good take right there.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Kareem Hunt has not let me down like all season, and I like that matchup. Sorry, I had to flex a little bit there. But like I still don't know that I can start him over but like Chase Brown. With Chase Brown and Kareem Hunt both, I feel like you're looking for a big play. They're both probably around 30%, 35% snap share. So you're hoping for a big play or a touchdown. Obviously Connor's going to get a little bit more work, but you talk about the Browns run game, their O-line moving Chicago out of the way for a Kareem Hunt to break one. I think that has probably the larger probability, but based on touches, I mean, it's tough if I had to choose, but I think generic, like normally I would just leave Connor in my lineup because it's kind of like the studs are hopeful, and in the playoffs, you want to go with like your studs, you want to go with your floor. I like Chase Brown. I think that they can move on from Mixon next year, and we could see a whole lot of Chase Brown. You're excited if you got him in like the third round of your dynasty drafts or your rookie drafts. But for me, it's close, but I think I go Connor.
Hard to believe I'm 5th overall with these options, huh?
No, it's fine. Look, I won a championship with Kareem Hunt last year, like just sitting into my flex spot, getting his touchdown here and touchdown there, it works, right? Like sometimes it's about having that safe floor, right? Like if I can make sure I get a solid like 10 to 12 points here, like I have some studs in my other spots that'll get me the 30-point games, the 22-point games. I just need to make sure that this tight end spot doesn't have 4 points, or this flex spot doesn't leave me with 5 points on the week.
And I know Hunt is good to go, but he did have the little groin hiccup that kept him out of practice Thursday. I don't know how serious that was. It's hard to know now because guys miss practice all week long in the NFL and doesn't really mean a thing. But
all right, so we're going to pop over to fantasyfootballadvice.com. This is our social media platform for all things fantasy football. Go there, hang out. You can ask your questions at any time on there. And people go on, answer it. Aaron's in there, Evan's in there. Gina, I don't know if you've made it yet, but if you haven't,
I'm in there. I just haven't been in there. I'm sorry. I have to do better. I will do better.
No, you're fine. We also have a mobile app, which makes it easier. And the mobile app is pushing out push notifications now. So that makes it also a lot easier. But we're going to pop over there for a question. We got one from, I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce the name. But
oh, come on.
But quarterback decision, Josh Allen at home versus the Cowboys or Brock Purdy on the road at Arizona.
That's my answer.
I mean, you're probably talking, Aaron, where do you have both these guys ranked in your top 3?
2 and 4 with Allen at 2.
Okay, so there we go. We're pretty. I mean, I don't do my rankings like that. I just had a feeling you had them definitely right there. So, I think
that scares me.
Good. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with the NFL too, man. Is teams can play really well for a while and they can easily have a dud. Now the Cowboys have been great and they can go on the road and win this game. But this is a road game in Buffalo in December. This is not a game in Dallas, Texas, against a team that's got a lot to play for, that's not coming off the same kind of emotional win like the Cowboys are, just beating the crap, not just winning, beating the crap out of the Philadelphia Eagles, which is kind of big brother to them. I just think, man, the running upside with Josh Allen, what's at stake, being at home, I think I got to lean Allen here. It's a tough call, but again, I think McCaffrey does a lot of work. I think Allen's going to have to produce, even if they lose the game, it's going to be probably because Dallas is able to put up points on the road. I lean Allen, but barely.
Everybody on the same page? Is there any difference?
Nope, Allen,
Yeah.
but barely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's but barely, like but barely, and really you're just like, yeah. I can take that. I do think I think Allen will throw a pick this week. I'll almost put
Perfectly.
that one will, I think, for sure happen. Some of these questions, like, it's good when you get one that like makes you like grind your gears. You know what I mean? Like, I love it on Twitter, but I also hate it because I know once I put my answer out there, like fantasy receipts, like all these people are out there and they can't wait for something to be wrong, so they can be like you know. But it is what it is. I tell people, we can't promise 100%, but at least we'll give you an educated take.
I like to say asinine things just to piss fantasy receipts off.
Love it.
Fuck them. I don't care what they think.
Let me
I want fantasy receipts to retweet my take, whether it's good or bad. I'll just be like, hell yeah, man. Like I'm good with it.
So I think I missed. Oh, here we go. I missed this one earlier. Corey popping in. Fire. What's up, Corey?
Corey.
Then we got Jerry, Ridley or Thielen this week.
Ridley.
I'm staying away from Thielen.
I'm Ridley too.
No, you're not. You're Tyler.
You're a recording artist, formerly known as We Don't Know, but now goes
as Ridley.
What he said.
Formerly known as Ridley.
Formerly known as Ridley. That was his name, Ridley, right there. For sure.
Touche.
All right, moving on. Flacco or Zach Wilson? And
Flacco.
I refuse to answer this question. That's really? Really?
Yeah. Jerry.
Really?
Hey, Jerry just wanted us to have lots of questions to answer. So that's Flacco and Olave. All right.
You know the answer. If the question involves Zach Wilson, the answer is the other guy.
Anybody else.
So
Zach Wilson or the other guy.
Corey said pick two: Rashee Rice, McLaurin, Pittman, or Godwin. I think for me, the easy play, gotta play is Pittman.
Pittman, Rice.
Yeah, that's what I'm going. Pittman and Rice.
And I think it's really close. Godwin, we don't even know if he's going to play. Who was the fourth one?
McLaurin.
He hasn't been good yet. It's Pittman and Rice.
You're better off to play Curtis Samuel over McLaurin.
That's not wrong.
And Curtis Samuel, last pick of my
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Taking care of me.
She is not wrong.
Fun fact, I own more Curtis Samuel than any other player in all of my leagues.
You have a weird definition of a fun fact. That's weird definition of fun, but okay.
That was so fun.
Corey
popping in again. 18 flex play. Ayuk, Waddle, Zach Moss, or Hopkins?
Ayuk.
I like Ayuk or possibly
Moss.
Hopkins.
Ayuk or Moss. But I think it's Ayuk.
Moss? I would go Ayuk.
Ayuk, but not by much over Moss.
Yeah, give me Ayuk. I mean, it's definitely Ayuk over Waddle and Hopkins for me. And Moss, I know he's going to get the volume, but yeah, Moss has just been kind of disappointing the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's kind of puts a sour taste. I'm trying not to let that dictate my thoughts here, but I just think, man, it's hard because the matchup for Ayuk is good, but again, man, they can just run the ball with McCaffrey, but they'll keep throwing, right? Like the Niners aren't really going to take their foot off the gas till the very end of the game. Moss's over-under is like 18 and a half carries. Like he's just expected to get so much work, but I want to say Moss. I'm going to go with Ayuk though.
So let me ask you this and see if this changed. So far, Tyreek Hill has not practiced all week. Still has not practiced with the ankle injury. Does that change anything for Waddle? Now, I know they play, what do they play? The Jets, which is a nasty matchup. I think they're number one against the pass. But, I mean, do you does Waddle become a volume? Like we just talked about how, we don't know about playing Purdy because CMC is going to eat a lot. So then you get an Ayuk, and like, are we saying Ayuk might get 1 touchdown, might get 2 touchdowns? Maybe he just has 70 yards receiving on 4 catches. Like, do you think like a being force fed Waddle against the Jets? Does that change anything if Tyreek doesn't play?
Tyreek's gonna play.
You think
He's
so?
a freak of nature.
Tyreek's playing.
I think Braxton Berrios would be your better receiver over Waddle if Tyreek didn't play. Crazy thought, but I think Waddle ends up with all the coverage, and all of a sudden you got crazy. Who's their tight end that was like relevant for the first couple games?
Durham Smythe.
Yeah. And Braxton Berrios are, yeah.
And the Jets are not good against the run. So you've got Mostert. I think A-Chain's active, right?
I think so.
He doesn't sound like he's going to play, though.
Okay, so they just have Mostert. So that helps. But I don't know, man. Waddle has not been the greatest. This is a division game, game 2. I think this game's going to be close. Like, I'm all over Jets +9 in this matchup. Just to throw that out there. And it's, the over-under is only 37. I don't think Miami puts up a ton of points in this game. So if we were to say Tyreek didn't play, I still like Ayuk over Waddle.
I am going to make everybody mad.
And say Hopkins? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to make us mad.
I'm going to say Hopkins. It's one of those, it's the whole Kittle argument. It's the Purdy argument. Oh, there's so many weapons. And Ayuk is either like he is there and he is killing it, or he is not. And while they could have an absolutely huge game through the air and score 50 points, I don't know. There's been something about Will Levis the past few weeks. Like, it's like he's feeling himself. He's got something to prove. I don't know if the confidence is popping in there, but man, he is throwing the ball and he is trying to get it to Hopkins a lot. And the thing is, it's not like a lot of dink and dunk. Like, he's getting yardage catches, I think his average, what was his average yards per catch last week? 17 yards. So 14 yards 4 games ago, 16 yards last game, 15 yards the game before that, and then last week, 17 yards per catch. So, I mean, it's big catches, not like dink and dunk catches. So, I mean, and obviously he's trying to get him in the end zone. He's had a touchdown in 3 of his last 4. So, I don't know. I like that. If Stroud doesn't play, which is a high probability, I don't think it's as much of a shootout as I would like, and that may change it a little bit for me. But if Stroud plays, I think we could get a lot of air ball.
See, I think it's the exact opposite for me. If Stroud plays, I don't think the Titans can keep up with them. I think Stroud not playing keeps the Titans in this game.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is it doesn't – I don't think it really matters. Like, I think that Levis is like – down or not, like, I hope they get down. I hope they play from down, because when they play from down, he's coming out like he's, Joe Montana trying to chunk the ball. Like, I'm happy with that. As long as it's not like this last game, where the Raiders freaking go up 42 at half on the Chargers. Now, if it's that game, then yeah, you're completely off your rocker. Hopkins probably going to go sit on the bench for the second half and be like, I'm not wasting my time. But, like, if they're 2 touchdowns away, I think they're still playing.
And Ayuk did have 6 for $148 the first time against Arizona.
Stroud is doubtful. I don't think Stroud is playing.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't like that, because I jumped on Texans +2.5 like first thing, so I'm really not feeling Stroud not playing there. But I do think, side note, Davis Mills will play decent enough for that team. I think this coaching staff is good enough for Houston to win that game, even with
Did
Davis
they announce it was going to be Mills yet? Or were
Yeah,
they?
I
thought
so.
it was going to be either Mills or Keenum. Like, they hadn't decided yet.
I think it's Mills, but he hasn't officially been ruled out He's not going to play.
Yeah,
But
sounds like Mills just Stroud's out, but hey,
Man, great question.
Tennessee is not a good pass defense. And if you look back when Davis Mills, when he has matchups against bad pass Ds, like he was a top 10 quarterback last year against that crappy Raiders secondary. I'm not saying he'll do that this week, but I wouldn't just toss him to the side or toss, the offense to the side completely. He's no CJ Stroud. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying matchups do matter, and Tennessee is awful against the pass.
Houston beat reporters say they're not going to name the official starter till warmups, so you're not going to know.
Gotcha.
Sleeper says he's expected.
Says who's expected.
Sleeper says that Mills is expected to be the starter.
All right, so we got another question coming over from Facebook. Sorry, were you done, Gina? My bad.
No, I was just going to say it also said Achane did return to practice today.
Yes, he did.
So Facebook user, this is Malcolm Merriweather. Thanks for tuning in, man. Like the show. Pick 3, Mike Evans, Puka, Jefferson, Devonta Smith.
Whew.
Sit Justin Jefferson.
They're not even sure he's going to play. He hasn't been cleared to play yet, right?
Nick Mullins is going to be his quarterback if he does.
Yeah, I'm with it. Sit JJ, which sounds crazy, but
I mean, you haven't missed them up until this point, so just pretend he's still on IR.
Popping in again with his second question. He said, Flacco, Ritter, Levis, Mullins, Mills, or DeVito?
Flacco.
I do like Flacco.
Anybody
That
else?
spaghetti slinger really surprised us last week.
The spaghetti slinger. Him and his agent on the sideline with the
Tommy Parm, as JC would call him. Tommy Parm.
I had a guy in our dynasty league that went and picked up DeVito and played him last week because he was trying to lose to ensure he got a better pick. What ended up happening was DeVito went off and he won against the guy that has Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. It's just loaded. He's got Kenneth Walk. I mean, just loaded team. And he upset him and pushed him out of the playoffs. So it was absolutely crazy.
Wait, was this like a dynasty league and he was trying to tank for
yeah.
Picks?
Basically,
okay.
He was like, he's got a young team. He was like, even if I make the playoffs, I don't think I'll actually be able to make very far. So he's like, let me just take this loss, and that secures me like a bottom 6 or like a top 6 pick next year. And he ended up winning, and so now he's in the playoffs.
Why didn't he just leave his quarterback out?
Well, you can't just blatantly tank.
I had one. Wow. I had a guy in a league I was in, just was a jerk all season long, sending people terrible messages. So I had enough of them. And what he didn't factor in was last week of the season, he needed to win and have the 8th place guy lose. Well, lo and behold, I faced the 8th place guy. So I was going to tank to make sure the 8th place guy won. So I benched Jalen Hurts in favor of Will Levis, got me an extra 12 points. I was like, son of a bitch.
That's awesome.
No, it really wasn't.
I'm terrible at losing purposely. I can't do it. The highly competitive side in me, I cannot do it. I always set my lineups and I'm like, I want to lose, but I can't do it.
It's been hard for me to do that over the years, but I got a little better this year at some teams where I was like fully rebuilding, where I'm like, you know what? I am doing it for that reason. Like I'm making these moves, like winning does not serve me one bit. Yeah. Like I don't really care about knocking you out of the playoffs. Like I don't care about your team like that much. Like I care about my team and trying to be good. Like this is a dynasty team. Like I'm playing for next year. Like what? I'm okay with it. I mean, if you can trade all your best players for picks, you should be able to just set your lineup with a crappy lineup to lose.
Do you guys do IDP? Yes, we do, or at least I do. I'm sure several people in here play. I need to sit one: Ernest Jones, Logan Wilson, Terrell Bernard. Who are you sitting?
I have one league that I do IDP in. I actually think I have Bernard too.
I like
I'm
Bernard.
like, I'm
Bernard's been a
out
tackle
on
machine.
this.
Bernard's been a tackle machine.
A sec. I can bring up my rankings.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna sit Jones.
Oh, we're sitting one? Okay. I am going to sit Bernard, and it's not particular. Well, I guess it's close. I have Jones at 4 overall, Wilson at 11, Bernard at 16. And just for the record, that's on Fantasy Pros, where I'm currently IDP ranker number 2 overall on the year.
Boom, throw that in there right there. That,
Oh yeah,
that speaks to volume.
just a little pat on the back, huh?
Hey, I can't catch Leo. I've been like 8 points behind him all season. I can't catch him. I'm stuck in second. I sit Bernard.
Yeah, I mean, Ernest Jones has been a monster too, man. He was a guy I grabbed in all my IDP leagues after last year. I mean, after Wagner left there, and I mean, yeah, and Wilson. Yeah, I think I'm sitting Bernard too. I am not currently ranked. I'm ranked one spot ahead of Aaron. I'm kidding. I am not ranked on the ranks there, but I do agree with the man who is ranked. Where did you say?
Second.
Yeah, I agree with the man ranked second. I don't agree just because he's ranked there. I think this week, the matchup, I think Jones and Wilson are just a little more around the ball, getting those tackle numbers. I think Bernard, it's not a mile, but I think Bernard's a little farther down for me.
See, the matchup is what drove me a little bit in that, like, I just think, like, they constantly try to run Pollard, and I think Bernard could rack up a lot of tackles there, But I agree. I mean, if Antonio Gibson gets a lot of dink and dunks this week, like, I expect Washington to try to really chunk the football without Brian Robinson Jr. That's what I expect to happen. But if Gibson gets a lot of dink and dunks, then sure, Ernest Jones is going to have a better game. But that was kind of the differing piece for me, is like, I think that they're going to have to throw beyond the first level, which kind of takes Ernest Jones a little bit more out of it. And they rely more on, like, your DBs, your strong safety, like, what's his he's an Arkansas guy. I am blanking right now.
But do you think they're going to be able to do that, Tyler? I mean, I know you're a Curtis Samuel guy, and the Rams are not good against tight ends. Like, Howell is like third in passing yards in the NFL, and his wide receivers are like 27th. Like, it doesn't even make sense because all the guy does is dink and dunk the football.
Well, he tries to get it downfield. I mean, Curtis Samuel's got a lot of areas. Cameron Curl.
I won't argue with you there, but I think a lot of Logan Thomas in this game too, and probably that first level. But I see what you mean. I mean, especially if they're down early and they have to throw deep. I mean, you could take Jones out, but
where we could see Dallas consistently run Pollard all game, or try to throw Pollard a couple screens. They've been trying to throw some screens. Like, I don't know. It's close for me. I've been watching, and maybe I'm a little partial because I've been watching the Bills a lot, and that guy is like all over the freaking field. But I do agree. I think it's close, Aaron, and I mean, you could probably go, if you have either, you're doing great. We'll leave it at that. Let's see, rolling through.
I mean, the guy you're sitting, Aaron, has 16th. Like, that's not a bad problem.
Yeah. All right, Joker, full PPR, pick one: Devon A-Chain with injury, Chuba, Jerome Ford, or Calvin Ridley.
I don't know.
If A-Chain doesn't play, it's Ford.
Agree.
I am there as well. I'm debating if I think it's Ford anyway.
I don't know. I think I'm fine with what he said.
I mean, A-Chain wasn't the greatest last week.
Coach said probably Ford, and I hate Ford.
Hey, I can tell you this: if Coach is picking a player that he says he hates, that's a good sign for playing that guy, because I think he'll stand strong against that right there. So
Now, if you have Mostert, I mean, maybe you just Mostert and roll Mostert and Ford. Like.
Yeah.
What you got, Gina?
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't. That's a tough one.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not like passionate about any of those other options right now.
All right, we're getting let's see, we got a Facebook user popping in. Need to fill 2 flex spots: Hollywood Brown, Foreman, Chase Brown, or PJ Washington. What a crew to have to fill 2 flex spots with.
Woo!
Not quite the same problems as the other one. These are the good ones right here.
This is Mike D over on Facebook. Mike D is a member of the Fantasy Football Advice Network Facebook page. Popping in here with a doozy. What do you think? Who wants to go first?
The first 2, and it's ugly. Foreman is the easy one for me, and then it's between Brown, and I went with Hollywood just because he has a more guaranteed role than Chase Brown, who could see nothing. It's ugly though, all the way around.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Last week, PJ Washington got a touchdown against Cleveland. And so let's go this. Every game that PJ Washington has been back, he has had a touchdown since Christian Kirk has been out. Do we think he can have a third week with a tutty?
Baltimore.
Cleveland's not.
It was
Baltimore.
Cleveland last week.
Cleveland's not Baltimore.
Cleveland's pretty good.
Who are you saying
pretty
better?
Good D right now.
Who are you saying is better, Cleveland or Baltimore?
Oh, Baltimore.
Baltimore. It's close though.
Yeah. I think Cleveland was ahead in that game too. I will say that, like you said, Tyler, their defense did put up numbers still, but they were ahead in that game, and then Jacksonville just kind of started airing it out, right? Weren't they down 21 at some point? I mean,
yeah, but even in airing out, like what did it? Trevor had like three picks and like 2.
No, but what I'm saying is that because he aired it out, I think that helped Washington a little bit have an opportunity to score. Where I don't know if Baltimore allows that to happen. I mean, of course, Baltimore could be blowing them out too, I guess, if you want to go that route. It's ugly. I mean, here's the thing. For me, it's Foreman's number 1, and it's not close. I like Foreman. I think he has definitely the best chance at the end zone out of this group. He's going to get at least 10 carries. He's just, the work is there for him. Honestly, these other 3, Chase Brown, we talked about it. You have to get that big play. So I can see Hollywood at least is going to get some work. The Niners haven't been the greatest. I mean, the Niners aren't as good against receivers as the Ravens are.
Right. If Arizona is going to be competitive in the game, they've got to throw the football. I agree with that.
And they got to throw the ball to Hollywood, and he's yet to do anything since Kyler's come back. There has to be a game where he does something. But I mean, if you want to go with the hot hand and play Washington over Hollywood, like I'm not.
I was just posing a question because PJ Washington, he didn't play yet, but that was like, what was it, injury driven? And then like his only 2 games he's played, he's had a touchdown in both games. So
how many targets has he had in those games?
So in those games, he had 6 catches for 6 targets in the first game with a touchdown, 10 yards average, like yards per catch. And then in the second game, he had 2 catches for 3 targets, for 13 yards per catch for a touchdown.
He's living on unsustainable touchdown production. He's not going to keep scoring 1 per game. And he added in a rushing touchdown last week. Oh, no, he didn't. Sorry. That's a That's a fumble. Sorry, wrong category. But
Who
either way,
gets more targets, Gina? Hollywood or Washington in this game? Who gets more targets?
Hollywood.
As ugly as it is, I'm going to go with that reasoning. I mean, the matchup and the reasoning. I think it's
No, I
favored
like Hollywood. Like I'm telling you that I
I
was
don't know if
just
I like
again,
Hollywood, but
this
Yeah,
this is more of like food for thought question, like playing a little bit devil's advocate to get a little conversation going. It's exciting when you get a young guy that goes back-to-back games and his only 2 starts with touchdowns. That's exciting for Dynasty.
Sure.
I agree that Hollywood, like they got to use Hollywood. Like they've got to go to the air. They're not going to do it on the run game. They're not going to do it in level 1. You know, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw can cover too much field, right? Like they're going to have to do it in the air. And so if they don't get Brown involved, then it's absolutely a onslaught and it's never a game, period. But I feel like they've got to do that. So knowing that game script has to be there makes me feel better about playing him, you know, over one of like somebody else, you know?
Yeah, PJ Washington's just going to be so touchdown dependent. And like Aaron said, what's the chances of him keeping up that touchdown in a third game?
Yeah, 27 yards, right? I mean, 1 catch for 19, the other one for 8, and he happened to find the end zone. I mean, Hollywood, I think his best game might have been, I know it wasn't with Kyler, but he had 7 on 10 targets for 96 yards against the Niners.
Yeah. So the volume is going to be there.
So the one thing though, I will say, I guess it changes it so Hollywood has the heel injury or whatever, like he is a little bit banged up. I think he probably still plays. I think you still go with him if he plays. If he doesn't, I might take a risk on a ceiling player like Washington. Maybe.
But I'm not committing.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to,
never fully commit.
Right? Chase Brown's also a upside player, you know, like he could there. I think that the Bengals are trying to get him more work to see what they have. I don't think that they're going to continue to keep mixing on the roster. You know, so I think he gets more touches. So I do like Chase Brown as an option. Let's see. Keep rolling. Tua or Russell Wilson this week? Do or die?
Russ.
I'd go Russell Wilson.
This is
I do not like Tua this week.
Yeah. I'm Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Russ
might have 40 yards rushing alone.
Let Russ cook. I'm all over his rushing prop over 26.5, just to throw that out there. Detroit can't stop mobile quarterbacks, and Russ is old, but he can still run the football. I think Miami's score is low, and Tua struggled against the Jets the first time. I like it, guys. I'm on it. Team Russ.
What he said. The Dolphins are frauds. They can't beat any good defenses.
Yeah, and Aaron
doesn't. Russ, didn't he just have another daughter? Like he's got to win for the daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
totally.
And you know, Detroit has not been able to get to the quarterback like at all. Their pass rush has been non-existent, and their secondary has not been good. They're still banged up on both fronts. Like, yeah, Russ could have a day in Detroit, man.
All right, so one running back and a flex. Javonte, Kenneth Walker, Keaton Mitchell, McLaurin. So running back, you going Javonte, Walker, or Mitchell?
Javonte.
I think it's Javonte for me too. It's pretty easy.
Easy, but do you like Javonte this week?
So I don't love Javonte this week, but I do like how much they're using him. And I mean, like trying to like even in the passing game with them bringing in P. Ryan last year, and then the emergence like McLaughlin, like no one expected, I think, Javonte to get the passing work that he's getting, but he is getting catches. I mean, I've hit his receiving prop like 4 weeks in a row.
I'm definitely out on McLaurin, I think, in these options. I don't know. McLaurin has just been stale lately. Like he had a goose egg a couple weeks ago. What?
Yeah, it's going to be Gibson, Samuel, and Logan Thomas against this Rams defense. I mean, I think you're just I mean, if McLaurin gets deep for one, you know, that's kind of what you're banking on is him, like Tyler said, you know, Howell taking his shots, but I don't think they'll be good shots. And if he connects on one, great. But I don't want to sit there and hope for that with McLaurin all game long.
He's scary, Terry.
Very scary this week.
So Walker or Mitchell then?
Keaton Mitchell.
It's pretty hands down for you.
Better matchup. Walker's got the worst matchup. We're not sure how healthy he is. They're including Zach Charbonnet in the offense a lot more. I'd rather go Mitchell. Mitchell seems to be trending up in his usage. Walker's trending down, and he's not healthy.
Yeah, I mean, if Walker was healthy and getting some passing work, I might go with kind of that stud approach of like he's the guy. But they both don't have good matchups on the ground, and Jacksonville is a heavily targeted team for pass catching running backs. The way they play defense, the way they blitz, that's something Mitchell can be used. So I think, yeah, I like what Aaron said. With Walker's health, I'm going Mitchell and Javonte here. I'm not high on Javonte either. I feel like Detroit's run defense is really good, but the volume is there, and I can't play Walker and McLaurin. So yeah, Javonte and Keaton for me.
Yeah.
All right. Keep rolling. We're gonna try to wrap this up. We're getting a lot of questions over on Facebook. Let's see.
Fire him up, baby.
Flacco or Carr?
Flacco.
Man, Coach, I want to say, Coach, I appreciate you. Coach is dropping like good content as a chat guy, like in the chat consistently. So thanks, man. Appreciate you being on the show and doing that. Lots of good takes over there. We're gonna go back over to Fantasy Football Advice Network, fantasyfootballadvice.com. Go sign up. If you're not signed up, you need to be. It is free. We do have buy-up options, but it is a social media platform only for fantasy football. No, no Peloton workouts or
that could be fun.
Facebook Marketplace, or just random ads in your feed. Just fantasy football stuff. So go to fantasyfootballadvice.com and sign up. The questions that we don't get to tonight, post them in there. There's a main feed, and we will go in and answer them after the show, or at least I know I will. You have my word. So we're gonna go.
Sorry, go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm on Twitter. Sleeper stole my damn idea for Aiden O'Connell. Did you see it?
Nuh-uh.
I've been putting everywhere I have Aiden O'Connell. I've been using the Rod Farva Super Troopers gif. They put that as his profile picture on Sleeper. Now the bastards. They stole that from me. I want credit, Sleeper.
All right, so lineup advice, need 2 wide receivers. Oh, hold on. We can't do that one. That's going to be, but if you have deep questions, like you can do that where you have, well, I guess we can, need 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. So wide receivers, you going Henry, Montgomery, or Hall?
What? You mean?
Running backs. You said wide receivers, I think.
Yeah, you said wide receivers and then name the running backs.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking in my mind, I'm thinking like your typical roster build is always like, it's like quarterback, 2 running backs, wide receivers, tight end, backs, so I'm like picturing, okay, so 2 wide receivers, DK, Rice, Reed, or Smith?
DK and Smith. DK for sure, and I think Smith also for sure.
I like Reed with Watson being out. He's an interesting play there. I do like Rice. Not just to eat.
Reed, 4 for 5. Jaden Reed 4 for 15 last week. Ugh.
2 best matchups, 2 best receivers.
Yeah, that's where I lean Devontae because of that being just the best guy on the board with DK. Like New England has kept scores low. Kansas City's offense has not been great. Like, yeah, Rice is fun, but I don't expect that game to have a lot of points. I do like Jaden Reed. We saw what Drake London did against, Tampa Bay, and they've been getting blown up all year long. But I just don't know if Love is throwing the ball to Reed in good matchups the way that Ritter targets London in good matchups. So I think it's DK and Devontae for me on the receivers too.
All right. Gina, any different there?
I don't know. I mean, I like Devonta. And then DK or Rice, I guess. I'm inclined to like Reed. I think Jordan Love likes Reed, but I would probably stick with DK or Rice just to be safe.
Okay, so running backs, Henry, Monty, or Hall?
Play all three of them. One of them in the flex.
All right, fair enough. Anybody disagree?
Nah, I mean, Brees, there's no reason he doesn't get another 5-6 catches. The other guys are workhorses and dogs. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm leaving Reed and Rice on the bench.
And they can have good weeks. Like, they can have good weeks. I think Reed has a great matchup, but with the guys on the list, those are the answers I think that you got to go with.
That's funny. Sorry, we got here. Let me pop this over. So on the network, somebody, Steven's on troll, and he said, "Should I eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich right now? Sorry, eat peanut butter sandwich right now, or add jelly to it?"
Oh, definitely add jelly.
Agreed.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Add jelly, dude. Come on now.
Yeah. Is this even a question?
Yeah, you should already have jelly on there is what Gina's saying. Like, jelly should be on there before you type that.
Yeah. Uncrustables. Go get yourself an Uncrustable.
You don't even have to put jelly on it. It's already got both.
Yes.
All right, so we are officially well over our show time. I apologize, you guys, for keeping you in here. Questions were lighting up. I was trying to get everybody their answers. If you didn't get your questions in, fantasyfootballadvice.com, and ask your question there. Just like immediately while you saw the show, we got a new question. Granted, it was peanut butter sandwich or jelly. It's probably going to get deleted because it's not fantasy football, unless that's what you're eating while you're watching this fantasy football podcast show. Then it's okay. I will grant that caveat. But fantasyfootballadvice.com, sign up. We're here with you from the forum every Friday, 9:00 Central Time. Great guests every week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Go follow these wonderful people on X, on Twitter. Great content, and they're in the network. So ask your questions there. They will answer them. We will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good one.